Hey guys, I hope you guys are having a great day today. It's been a while since I've sat down and filmed. I pre-filmed a lot of stuff before my trip, and now I'm back. And today I'm super excited. Today is going to be a full face of Merit Beauty. Now, I have received PR from Merit Beauty in the past in exchange for a video, but all of my reviews are obviously my own opinions. I try not to let getting PR sway me on what I think of the product, and I also purchased a lot of the items in this bag full of Merit here. So this video is not sponsored. Merit doesn't know I'm doing this. I just have really been loving Merit's products, and I wanted to show you guys a full face. And with that being said, let's just hop into it. So I have tried all of these products before. I don't love all of them, and I'm going to get into it as I apply it, but I don't have any moisturizer on right now, so I'm just going to take a little bit. I'm using one from L'Occitane right now, which isn't my favorite. It's really fragrant, but it is a really nice and thick moisturizer, which I really need right now. Yesterday was literally the first snow in Michigan, and it started sticking to the ground, and my skin is just super dry, so I really want it to be nice and moisturized. Also, the foundation stick is a little bit on the drier end of cream formulas, so I wanted to make sure that my skin is nice and hydrated and we have a good base to start with. I have almost a full lineup from Merit. I have foundation, bronzer, blush, highlighter. The only thing that I don't have is the new serum oil thing they recently came out with, and their mascara. And if you don't know, Merit's mascara formula is a tubing formula, and I just have so many mascaras right now that I couldn't justify buying it. I just bought 3 from Thrive Cosmetics. I have a couple others that are in my rotation right now that are not tubing mascaras, so it wasn't in the cards. I also did pick up their brush, which I have used, and I have to say I really like it so far. It is the perfect density and give, I feel like, for these cream products, and I really like the way that it's been applying my makeup. This is called the Minimalist Perfecting Complexion Stick. I have this in the shade Sand. They did recently reformulate this and give, I want to say, like almost double the product as before. I've never tried this before, so I don't know if the formulation is better, worse, the same, like maybe they just repackaged it. I really like the packaging on this. I feel like it is super sleek. I like how compact it is, and I like that it's pretty thin. Like the product itself is pretty thin, so you can get really precise with it if that's what you would like. So I'm gonna go in with this and just start swiping. I feel like the coverage is definitely more of a light to light medium, but I'm not surprised by that. That is kind of just how Merit's vibe is. And I'm just taking this and kind of now, this product is not my favorite. I don't love the way it looks on my skin, and I'll show you guys in a close-up, but it does blend very easily. I will say that this is a pretty good match for me, and I do like that I could really get under the skin and use this, or underneath the eyes, and use this as a concealer as well. So I'm just taking this, adding a little bit more coverage, and I just spot cleaned that brush with my Cinema Secrets makeup brush remover, but it's not fully dry yet, so I'm gonna switch brushes just because I don't want to feel like I'm rubbing like some sort of chemical onto my skin. So this is just an e.l.f. complexion duo brush, and I'm just going to do the same thing and stipple this and kind of make sure that's spread out. Okay, now that that's blended out, I'm gonna zoom you in just so you can kind of see how my skin is looking right now. I have quite a couple of healing acne, like especially on my cheeks and around my forehead. They're not clinging onto it immediately, but I have noticed it clinging before, which is why I really highly recommend, if you're gonna wear this, I recommend putting on like a really thick moisturizer and making sure you prep your skin very well. So overall, I do like the way it looks. It is a little bit drying. I wouldn't say drying, it's more of just a dry formula. So if you do have a lot of dry patches, if you have a lot of like dry skin in general, I don't think it's gonna look great on your skin. However, it does look nice. It is kind of expensive. I forget how much it actually is, but it's a cream. It'll last a really long time. You'll get a decent amount of use out of it for sure. And I just really like the ease of use of it, like the small compact packaging and the formula. It's creamy but not too creamy. I like it. I don't know if I would buy it again. Also, I will say it does look pretty good on my under eyes right now. Again, I think it is because I hydrated super well. I have noticed when I wore this and didn't hydrate super well, it did not look good on me. So I don't think it's like a necessary to have in every single person's collection, but I do like it and I will continue to use it, which is kind of all I can ask for. Again, the packaging is really nice, really sleek, and overall I would give it like a 7 out of 10. Okay, the next thing I'm gonna go in with is this guy right here. This is the Merit Bronze Balm. This is in the shade Seine, which I believe is their medium shade. And the thing that I really like about this is that the shape of it is kind of elongated, so you can really be precise with where you're applying it. I find that when I turn it like on my side, I could get in my eyes or like on my eyelids pretty easily. The formula is super thin and creamy. It is very balm-like. It's like it glides on the skin really easily. However, I will say it's not very pigmented, which makes sense for Merit as a brand to not be super pigmented, but I don't think it lasts super long though. And I haven't noticed any pickup of my foundation underneath, which is a good sign. So I'm just gonna start by applying this on my cheeks, around my forehead, on my nose, and why not, around my jawline. I'm also going to put a little bit of this on my eyes just to get a little bit more color there. On most days, I honestly would just use this Merit brush just all over, but like I said, I did just like spot clean it and it's not dry yet. So I'm gonna hold off on using this and I'm just gonna go in with a different brush. I'm gonna go in with this ColourPop F32 brush, which is just like a small guy. And I'm just gonna stipple this out. I lied, I'm just gonna buff it out, but buff it out lightly. Stippling doesn't seem to work well with this brush. I'm going to take a smaller fluffy brush. This is just a BH Cosmetics number 5 brush, just to blend out the bronzer on the eyes a little bit. I feel like I need just a little bit more coverage underneath my eyes, so I'm just going to take a little bit more, just like those 2 little dots, and I'm just going to use my finger to blend this out. And I'm just going to focus it in this specific area. Okay, next I'm gonna go in with their highlighter. This is the Day Glow Highlighting Balm in the shade Citrine. I'll give it a little swatch for you on my hand. So I'm not sure how well you can see that, but it is a very creamy highlighter. There's absolutely no glitter in this, which I really appreciate, but it gives a stunning glow. I'm not sure if you were able to see in the close-up, but it really just like found and caught the light perfectly. So again, I'm going to just swipe this on and put this on the high points of my face, but I'm gonna tap this out with my fingers. I do really like this highlighter. It gives a super pretty like glow from within type of look. Like I said, there's absolutely no glitter, but it reflects the light in such a like beautiful way, and I just really like that the shine it gives. Now onto blush. I was sent one of the blushes in PR a while ago, and I ended up giving it to my mom, so I went and picked up another one. This one is in the shade Mood. This is the Flesh Balm cheek color, and it's this super pretty kind of like mauve-y tone. It's very reminiscent of the signature lip in L'Avenue, if we're being honest. So I'm gonna swatch them next to each other. So that one right there, this is the blush in the shade Mood, and Runway. This is the signature lip in the shade L'Avenue. So it's super pretty. I really like the vibes of it, especially in the winter time, which it definitely feels like it's winter now. So I'm just gonna take this and apply it to my cheeks. I do tend to use a lot because I don't think that it stays super well on your skin. I do feel like it fades pretty quickly. It is a cream blush though, so I'm not mad about that. There are just definitely other cream blushes that last a little bit longer. And again, this, I'm just gonna take this and start buffing this out. I really like the color though. I really like this berry tone for winter because it kind of reminds me of like a snow-kissed look, if that makes sense. This is a ColourPop F29 brush, by the way. It just kind of makes me look frostbitten, and I know that's kind of a trend going on right now. It's like cold makeup or something like that, where it's basically just the same placement as a sunburnt blush, but not. So I feel like on camera it definitely looks a little bit lighter than it does in real life. I feel like I do have a nice flush in person, but I do understand that the camera kind of washes it out. But it's super pretty. It blends really easily. Like I said, it's not the most long wearing blush, but it's super easy to apply, super easy to blend, and overall it's just, it gives a really pretty flushed look to the cheeks, which is, I mean, that's what blush is for. I also want to talk about the packaging of this. I don't love it. I think that it's cute and like it's easy to grip to like swipe on your cheeks, but my one pet peeve with most cream products is that it's like a dome, and when you put the lid on, like you have to be really careful with it, otherwise it can get really messy and you can put like, or you can get makeup everywhere. This also doesn't like extend anymore. It's just this component, which is probably actually like a good amount of blush. So I'm not that worried about it. But that is like the blush you see is pretty much the blush you get. So I would just be a little bit cognizant of that. I do really like the shade Mood though. I know I've said it. I really like this like berry tone for winter specifically. So really happy I have this in my collection. The next thing I'm gonna go in with is brows. This is the Merit Volumizing Pomade in the shade Black Brown. And the packaging is super pretty. This gold tube, it has a very long like handle, but the wand itself is very short. The bristles are kind of fat. It's kind of a bigger wand for your eyebrows, but it does look like there are fibers in the brows. And like I said, I've tried all of these products before, so I kind of already have an opinion on them. I do like this. I think that it makes my brows look thicker and more volumized. However, I feel like I need more in my day-to-day life. I feel like I need to fill in my brows more than what this gives me. So although I like it, it's not like a one and done step for me, which no brow product is. So don't get me wrong, like my brows are very sparse, and I feel like with the wand though, I can make mistakes really easily with this, and part of my brows will look like much thicker than the rest of my brows. I feel like if you have naturally good brows and naturally thick brows, you might really like this because it does have a good hold. It's not like a super stiff hold, but it's not super flexible either. So it does have a good hold, but you can see that my brows look really splotchy right now. And that's partly my fault, but also partly because this just doesn't do enough for me and my brows are like splotchy. And with this product, I feel like if I'm not careful, I can get it in my skin and then it kind of just ruins like the entire brow look. So I'm actually gonna wipe off this brow and start over. Okay, now since that isn't enough, I am gonna go in with a brow pencil and just fill in the sparse areas. This is just the Benefit brow pencil, I believe in the shade 5. I try not to fill them in too much so I still get that more like natural, effortless makeup vibe that Merit goes for. So that's pretty much all I'm gonna do. One brow is definitely darker than the other. It's fine. I'm staying at home today. And also my brows almost never look even, so I'm not that mad about it. I want to zoom you in a little bit though, because you can see here that I have a dry patch, and I wouldn't say that it's emphasized, but if you look really closely, I do notice it, and it's like the blush kind of just like didn't blend there, if that makes sense, or like maybe like the pigment kind of stayed there. But so you can see it's not the best for dry patches. I wouldn't say it's super noticeable, so I'm not that worried about it, but it's just something to note and to kind of experience that, you know, you can get dry patches. I am going to talk about two of my favorite products from Merit next. These are the signature lips. I have the shades Slip and L'avenue, like I said. So Slip is this brownie neutral and L'avenue is more of this berry shade. Here they are swatched. So that's Slip, that's L'avenue. They're not the best swatches, I apologize. I do really like the way these feel. They're super comfortable. They start off pretty sheer, but you can build them up to not full opacity, but like I want to say like 80% opacity, which I really appreciate, especially with darker lip colors like this. I don't always want like a full bold lip, if that makes sense. These colors are pretty much everything that I could dream of. Slip is, like I said, that like neutral brown. It looks really nice, just like one layer on. And L'avenue is just so, it's just so pretty and definitely reminds me of fall. I also want to talk about the shade Slick Tinted Lip Oil. I have 4 of them here. So I have a pretty good collection. I was gifted 3 of these and I bought one myself. So I was gifted 2 of these and then I bought 2 of them myself from what I recall. So I have the shade Taupe, the shade Marrakesh, the shade Au Naturel, and the shade Falcon. I just posted something on my TikTok that is like super easy fall makeup, and I use the shade Slick in the shade Falcon because it's such a deep like chocolatey brown, but on the lips it does not translate that way. I'm just gonna swatch these really quick for you. These have quite a big bit of pigment to them, which I appreciate since they are kind of like a lightweight product. I feel like I can just throw this on and go out the door. The shades going from here to here. This is Taupe, Falcon, Au Naturel, and Marrakesh. They're all super pretty. They have a pretty nice shine to them. I wouldn't say they're the glossiest things I've ever used, and they're not the most long wearing either, but the formula is super thin. It almost feels like there's nothing on your lips. I really like how pigmented they are. I mean, they're a gloss, so obviously they're not going to give you full opacity, but they're pigmented enough that I feel like I can wear them on their own and it's like going to be fine. I'm not going to have to worry about it. If it fades away, I can just reapply. I will say the one that I have a little bit harder of a time with of applying is Falcon. If I apply too much product, I feel like it looks streaky, but I just try to be more careful when I use Falcon. The rest of these though, they are stunning, absolutely stunning. So I'm going to start off with one of the lipsticks. I'm feeling Slip today. I am not gonna go full opacity with this. I'm just gonna put a little bit on, just enough to kind of give color to my lips. And then I'm gonna go in with Falcon. I want to show you guys how this looks on my lips because I've really been liking it. So it starts off pretty dark, as you can see. It does sheer out a little bit, but I feel like that's just so pretty for fall. I really like the kind of grunginess it gives me. I feel like this makeup kind of suits the vibe of the outfit. I don't really know why. I just really like it. I am gonna hop off camera, put on some mascara, and I will be back to talk about my final thoughts on the products. Okay, mascara is on. I'm gonna give it a couple minutes to dry down before I recurl my lashes since they did drop a little bit from it. But this is the final look. Honestly, this is pretty much my like everyday vibe, so I really like the way that this looks. However, these products aren't my favorite. So let's just go through them once again, a little recap if you will. I really like the shade of this and how creamy it is. It's a light to medium coverage, which is pretty much what I go for on the everyday. I think that if you have dry patches, this might not be the best one for you. I don't think that it looks that great on my dry patches, but oh my god, I forgot to blend out my bronzer on my chin. You've probably been this entire video like, girl, blend out your bronzer. Anyway, okay, so like I was saying, I don't dislike this. I don't love this either. I will continue to use it. I don't think it looks bad on my skin for the most part. Like just this one dry patch. I don't know if that's necessarily this or the blush though. It's kind of hard to tell since I have so many products layered. But for the most part, I like it. The shade Sand is a really good match for me. Like I said, it's light to medium coverage. So even if you get like one or a shade above or a shade below, I don't think it's that big of a deal. As far as the bronzer goes, I wish it was a little bit more pigmented. I feel like it kind of goes away quickly. For me, like my forehead looks good now, but I feel like towards the end of the day, I'll feel like I have no bronzer left. That's okay. It is creams. Like they're all cream products, so I'm not mad about it. I really like the shape of this and the elongatedness of it, if that makes sense. The packaging is stunning. The package for Merit all around is just stunning. So I'm really happy that I have these in my collection. The highlighter I think is probably one of my new like go-to cream highlighters. I like this. I'm a big fan of stick formulas. I find them super easy. I know that some can pick up the makeup underneath if it's like a really stiff cream, like it will pick up the makeup underneath usually, but I feel like with Merit I have not noticed that issue at all. I really like the shade of this. There's no glitter whatsoever and it just looks beautiful. Like my skin looks glowy but not overly glowy, if that makes sense. The one thing I will say about Merit is that they don't have any sort of powder product, so if you are oily, if you get oily fast, if you are almost like, if you're not a fan of the dewiness, honestly, I would set with powder. Personally, if this wasn't just like a full face of Merit, I would set with powder and I would mostly go towards my T-zone, but I will stick through it for the sake of this video. The blush is really pretty. I really like this shade. It looks a little bit intense when you swatch it, but when you blend it out, I feel like it has such a pretty sheen to it. I do like the formula. I do like that it's super easy to apply. Like I said, I enjoy swiping it on my cheeks and blending it out that way. I know that that might not be the preferred method for a lot of people, which is totally fine. I don't think the stippling method is great for this product though. The Merit lipsticks, I've talked about these for hours on hours and it's like all over the place. I love these. The packaging is super pretty. Like it has this gold with this brown casing. It is just stunning. I love the way that Merit looks on my vanity. Like just aesthetically as a brand, I really like their vibe. I really like their pretty much no makeup type of look, and I'm really excited to see what new things they come out with. I would really like to see them come out with a powder though, something similar to maybe the Kosas where it's like a lightweight powder. I would really like to see that happen. The brow gel, I do like the hold that it has and it is quite pigmented, so if you have not as sparse brows as I do, you might really like this. It is pretty volumizing as a brow gel. Like I feel like the fibers in it do make my brow hairs look thicker themselves. It's just not my favorite though. I think that the wand is a little bit too big to be able to get in every single hair, and I find that I like get it on my skin a lot and then it makes it look really weird and patchy, which definitely my fault, but I have other brow gels that don't really do that, and so it's not my favorite. I did give it to my mom a while ago and I took it back for the sake of this video, so I'm gonna give it back to my mom, and I have other brow gels that I want to go through, gotta get through, so probably wouldn't repurchase the brow gel specifically. But yeah, my brows, they look fine, so I'm not like mad about it. I almost forgot to mention the Merit brush, which is pretty much dry at this point, but I really like this brush. You can see that it like gives quite a bit, but it's so soft on the skin. It is a little bit angled, so I feel like you can get on the you can get like a really good blend and it just fits your face really well. I honestly think this might be one of the best products I have from Merit. This is probably my favorite product. I just really like the way it feels, the way it blends. I think it is super easy, super just overall good. I like the packaging. Obviously it's just like a black barrel, but it definitely fits Merit's aesthetic. I like that it's fat enough that you can like stand it on your desk without rolling over, and I just enjoy Merit as a brand. There are definitely some things that I don't love. There are definitely some qualms about some of the products that Merit has for my skin specifically, but overall I do really like the brand. I think every product has good qualities to them. I honestly, this might be one of my favorite brands. I feel like just their entire range is super cohesive. It works for my skin. It works for the look that I usually go for, and I'm a big fan. The last thing I want to talk about is the Shade Slick lip oils. I think me having 4 of them kind of speaks for itself. I do really like the formula. It's super lightweight. It is like nice and glossy, but not, I don't want to say overly glossy because I don't think you can be overly glossy, but it's super comfortable. It almost feels like there's nothing on the lips. I really like the pigment that this has. I think that the shade Falcon is super pretty for fall. I really like how my lips are darker, but they're not like a dark brown. I definitely think this suits the vibe. Again, the packaging is super pretty with the clear rectangular base and the gold cap. I really like the way that it looks. The doe foot is nice and small, so you can be really precise with it since it is more of a pigmented product. And overall, I'm just a really big fan of Merit in general. I really like the things that I've tried from them so far, and I'm really excited to see what else they come out with. I hope that the next thing they come out with is a powder. That's pretty much it for this video. If you're new here, I realize I didn't introduce myself at the beginning, and I'm pretty bad at that, but if you're new here, hi, I'm Vivian. I'm a robotics engineer with a love for all things beauty and makeup related, and I would love it if you subscribed, liked, subscribe, the things, the works. I want to know what your guys' thoughts of Merit are and how you guys feel about it. Yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in my next one. Bye!